Welcome back to Local 4 Plus Live, everyone. So we have a very interesting interview for you guys today. So let me start with this. Have you ever thought, I'd love to write a book? Have you ever thought of that, Kari?
Yes,
I know I have.
yes.
Well, you are in good company because our next guest says that most Americans want the same thing, but few actually pursue it. Joining us is Michael Butler, author of Book Idea to Bestseller in 30 Days. Thank you for joining us for Local 4 Plus Live. Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here, Tati. You know, it's true. 85% of Americans want to write a book. Only 15% ever do. And this is the time of year to finally get it done. You know, we've published 791 titles, authors in 64 countries. And what I talk about in my new book, best-selling book, Book Idea to Bestseller, is what are the 3 mistakes to avoid dying with your book inside you?
Okay,
And
well,
number
let
one
me
is
start with this, though. Hold on a second. Tell us, what inspired you to write this book and help people?
Well, I saw so many people struggling to get their book out to the world, and their friends and family would say, you need to write a book. And 6 years later, it's still not done. One lady last month said, I've been working on my book for 29 years. And I said, you know, we've got to help these people get their book out.
So how did you get started in helping authors get their books out? Because again, 789 books with authors in, is it 59 countries that you've worked with?
That's right. We started the company 6 years ago, in 64 countries we've published in. And the number one mistake people make dying with their book inside them is the TikTok effect. And what that is they think they have to have original content before they publish their book. And TikTok has taught us you can become rock star famous by sharing other people's content. Now, I'm not saying you should plagiarize, but start writing your content. There's no original content. Start sharing your content and start sharing it today.
And I love why you said that is, I gotta say, because that's the one thing I struggle with hugely, is feeling like this has to be something brilliant that has never been thought of ever in the span of time for mankind. But you say you don't have to do that. So give us an example.
Well, it's all about your audience, right? Because your audience is unique to you. And we learned from the Kim Kardashian principle that she's the world's most recognized billionaire brand. She's very strategic in what she shares and what call to action she wants her followers to take. So as you're writing your chapters, be very cognizant of what's in it for the reader. What are you doing for them? What value you're giving them, and tell them to take action. And the number 3 reason people die with their book inside them is the Ernest Hemingway syndrome, is they think, because I'm not Ernest Hemingway, I can't publish my book. Listen, you'll never be Ernest Hemingway. I'll never be Ernest Hemingway. In fact, Ernest Hemingway was not Ernest Hemingway until he published his first. In Book Idea to Bestseller, I teach you the 3 things you need to do. And number 1 is begin writing today and every day at the same time, same location. And just like going to the gym, your endorphins will kick in, your natural creative juices will start flowing, and the creativity will come. So start writing every day.
Okay.
And number 2,
the Kim Kardashian principle. Explain that.
Well, that is start sharing what you're doing. Start connecting with people online. You know, your reader is already listening to their favorite podcasts. They're already reading their favorite books. You need to say, where is my potential new reader connecting with the readers, the authors they love now, and start connecting in those online social media groups and start participating, asking questions, start sharing, and finally start speaking. Grab the mic, don't hesitate, start asking questions, start engaging, so that by the time it's time to launch your book 30 days from now, it's not on some deserted island. Thousands of people actually go to your website and pre-order your book because they've been engaged with you for 30 days. They're seeing your content, they're seeing your book cover and your pre-order link. They love it. And so they go ahead and buy your book, and you're changing the world. And you didn't die with your book still inside you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do want to go back to the Ernest Hemingway syndrome. So how do we avoid it? Because that is another thing that I'm 100% guilty of. I felt like this has to be a brilliant piece of work. Honestly, I even feel like that when I'm making a regular social media post. So how do we overcome that?
Right. So it's perfectionism, right? We don't ever procrastinate because we're perfectionists and we're afraid there might be a misspelling or a typo, a semicolon out of place instead of a comma. Forget about all that. You can go back and edit. You can go back and do a second edition. What I talk about in Book Idea to Bestseller, it doesn't have to be perfect. I heard you talking about the iPhone. Guess what? There's new updates all the time. And that's the beautiful thing is you correct it and improve it as you go, but launch it to the world. It's going to help your tribe. Nobody's going to be overcritical because you've got a semicolon out of place. Launch it today.
I love that. So tell us more about the book. What can people expect to learn from it?
Well, there's 52 actionable tips. I actually took 52 author secrets, the most frequently asked questions we get from authors around the world in publishing 791 titles. You get a lot of questions, people calling, emailing, social media about what to do with their book cover, to how to get global distribution, how to go #1 on Amazon, how to get their book into bookstores. We talk about all that in the book. We took those frequently asked questions from new authors struggling around the world and how to get global distribution, how to get the book into the #1 buyers of books in the world is still libraries. And we show you how to get your book into libraries too.
So talk to us about some of the authors that you've worked with. What are some of the topics that they've covered?
Well, we work with the former Miss Universe, and we work with celebrities, we work with pastors, we work with speakers, and we work with retirees that are forging a direction into a new career. So somebody that retires or sells their company, and we ghostwrite a lot of books because at the end of the day, the book is all about credibility. It's all about getting the author onto podcasts, into news media. We've got a grandma in Chattanooga, Tennessee, just launched a faith book. She's in her 70s, and guess what? She's got 10 podcast interviews scheduled just a week after launching her book, and she's never been on the media before.
That's amazing.
So
can anyone do this? Because that's the sense that I'm getting from you.
You really can. 70% of global book consumption is fiction. And the fact is, you're an expert at something. You've got to ask, #1, what do you want the book to do for you? Is it a credibility piece to get you more speaking gigs? Or are you going to just write a memoir to knock it off your bucket list for your grandkids and say, this is what our family was like? That's okay. There's no wrong answer. Define what you want the book to do for you. Get started today. Define what action you want the reader to take. Maybe you want more coaching and consulting clients. Start writing about your expertise today. Or maybe you want to delve into fiction. That's always fun because it could get optioned for a movie.
Which is really cool. I mean, don't we all wish that that could be the case? So what is your thoughts on children's books? If maybe you knew someone who might be interested in writing a children's book.
Well,
this is free advice. My producer is over here laughing at me, but I'm like, hey, this is free advice from an expert right here. So I'm taking the opportunity.
Well, you know what? We have the #1 selling children's series in North America, the Harry Moon series, and we've sold 500,000 of those because kids need to read, and reading is fundamental. Partnered with us because it's all about literacy for kids. So the Harry Moon Honeymoon series, jump on our calendar if you've got a book idea for children. I'm going to tell you the sweet spot. It's the 8 to 11-year-olds, and we know how to sell directly into the schools to the librarians and the administrators. Very important to hit that 8 to 11-year-old target because the 3 to 5-year-olds, it's all about phonics and reading, and the older kids, it's about the classics. But that's the sweet spot. Let's talk about your children's book idea. Parlaying that could be a huge thing to do.
Fascinating. I feel very motivated and excited, and I'm sure our audience is, because you make it feel attainable, right? Instead of this thing that
it is attainable. It is attainable. A lot of people thought the internet killed publishing, but readership is up globally, and a lot of industries, the knowledge is doubling every month. And so there's never been a better time to get on the front end of the knowledge curve, because if the internet were a baseball game, we're still on the top of the second inning, and people are the new media. So it's time to write your book and turn your book idea to bestseller in 30 days. I show you how to do it in my new book. So I would love to hear from you.
So how can people get a copy of your book and get in touch with you if they want to work with you?
Well, they can go to michaeldbutler.com and jump on my calendar and see the books that we've published and check out our publishing company from that link as well. But of course, the book is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart.com, everywhere books are sold. But if you've got a book idea, I'll give your listeners there in Detroit a free book consult. It's a $500 value for 30 minutes. I'll give you feedback on your cover. I'll give you feedback on your title, and we'll talk about who is the reader of the book and how to get into global distribution.
This is awesome. Michael Butler, author of Book Idea to Bestseller in 30 Days. This is our chance, everyone. 85% of Americans say they want to write a book, only 15% pursue it, according to Mr. Butler. So this is our chance, friends. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great to be with you.
Thank you. All right, I'm about to write a book. I'm about to order his book and read a book.
Tati, I've never felt so hype.
I'm telling you, that's why I said you make this feel attainable. Like this can actually happen.
Yeah.
His energy was infectious, right?
Oh, listen, I have his email address. Sorry, Mr. Butler, you're going to be hearing from me.
I know. No, I'm absolutely intrigued. You know, when you have a huge goal, right?
Yeah.
The hardest thing to do is break it down into actionable steps that feel palatable, right?
Right.
Like if you're trying to, let's say, buy your first house, it seems like this, you get on Zillow or whatever you get on and you see the house prices and you're like, how does this even work? Until someone breaks it down to you, you go over your credit score, how much do you have in savings?
Right.
It doesn't feel real until you actually get into it. Now, there are tons of resources for those kind of goals. There are not that many resources on how to write your first book,
Sure.
10th book, 25th book. But this, again, it seems like he's breaking it down in very actionable steps, and that's exciting.
Absolutely. To be able to make something that is daunting not seem as daunting is a very great power. And like I said, he's going to be bothered.
I know, right? Dear Mr. Butler, thank you for your appearance on Local 4 Plus Live. Let's talk.
That's right.
Let's talk. No, very exciting. We thank him for joining us this morning.